Creating the story, the plot, is the first step to selling your ideas with power, persuasion, and charisma. Succeeding at this step separates mediocre communicators from extraordinary ones. Most people fail to think through their story. Effective communicators plan effectively, develop compelling messages and headlines, make it easy for their listeners to follow the narrative, and introduce a common enemy to build the drama. The 7 chapters or scenes in Act 1 will help set the foundation for presentation success. Each scene will be followed by a short summary of specific and tangible lessons you can easily apply today. Let's review the scenes here. Scene 1. Plan in analog. In this chapter, you will learn how truly great presenters such as Steve Jobs visualize, plan, and create ideas well before they open the presentation software. Scene 2. Answer the one question that matters most. Your listeners are asking themselves one question and one question only: why should I care? Disregard this question, and your audience will dismiss you. Scene 3. Develop a messianic sense of purpose. Steve Jobs was worth more than $100 million by the time he was 25, and it didn't matter to him. Understanding this one fact will help you unlock the secret behind Jobs' extraordinary charisma. Scene 4. Create Twitter-like headlines. The social networking site has changed the way we communicate. Developing headlines that fit into 140-character sentences will help you sell your ideas more persuasively. Scene 5. Draw a road map. Steve Jobs makes his argument easy to follow by adopting one of the most powerful principles of persuasion: the rule of 3. Scene 6. Introduce the antagonist. Every great Steve Jobs presentation introduces a common villain that the audience can turn against. Once he introduces an enemy, the stage is set for the next scene. Scene 7. Reveal the conquering hero. Every great Steve Jobs presentation introduces a hero the audience can rally around. The hero offers a better way of doing something, breaks from the status quo, and inspires people to embrace innovation. Steve Jobs has built a reputation in the digital world of bits and bytes, but he creates stories in the very old world tradition of pen and paper. His presentations are theatrical events intended to generate maximum publicity, buzz, and awe. They contain all of the elements of great plays or movies: conflict, resolution, villains, and heroes. And, in line with all great movie directors, Jobs storyboards the plot before picking up a camera, i.e., opening the presentation software. It's marketing theater unlike any other. Jobs is closely involved in every detail of a presentation, writing descriptive taglines, creating slides, practicing demos, and making sure the lighting is just right. Jobs takes nothing for granted. He does what most top presentation designers recommend: he starts on paper. There's just something about paper and pen and sketching out rough ideas in the analog world in the early stages that seems to lead to more clarity and better, more creative results when we finally get down to representing our ideas digitally, writes Gar Reynolds in Presentation Zen. Design experts, including those who create presentations for Apple, recommend that presenters spend the majority of their time thinking, sketching, and scripting. Nancy Duarte is the genius behind Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth. Duarte suggests that a presenter spend up to 90 hours to create an hour-long presentation that contains 30 slides. However, only 1/3 of that time should be dedicated to building the slides, says Duarte. Squared, the first 27 hours are dedicated to researching the topic, collecting input from experts, organizing ideas, collaborating with colleagues, and sketching the structure of the story. Bullets kill. Think about what happens when you open PowerPoint. A blank format slide appears that contains space for words, a title and subtitle. This presents a problem. There are very few words in a Steve Jobs presentation. Now think about the first thing you see in the drop-down menu under Format: bullets and numbering. This leads to the second problem. There are no bullet points in a Steve Jobs presentation. The software itself forces you to create a template that represents the exact opposite of what you need to speak like Steve. In fact, as you will learn in later scenes, texts and bullets are the least effective way to deliver information intended to be recalled and acted upon. Save your bullet points for grocery lists. Visually engaging presentations will inspire your audience. And yes, they require a bit of work, especially in the planning phase. As a communications coach, I work with CEOs and other top executives on their media, presentation, and public speaking skills. One of my clients, a startup entrepreneur, had spent 60 straight days in Bentonville, Arkansas, to score an appointment with Walmart. His technology intrigued company executives, who agreed to a beta test, a trial run. Walmart asked him to present the information to a group of advertisers and top executives. I met with my client over a period of days at the offices of the Silicon Valley venture capital firm that invested in his company. For the first day, we did nothing but sketch the story. No computer and no PowerPoint, just pen and paper, whiteboard, in this case. Eventually we turned the sketches into slide ideas. We needed only 5 slides for a 15-minute presentation. Creating the slides did not take as much time as developing the story. Once we wrote the narrative, designing the slides was easy. Remember, it's the story, not the slides, that will capture the imagination of your audience. The napkin test a picture is the most powerful method for conveying an idea. Instead of booting up your computer, take out a napkin. Some of the most successful business ideas have been sketched on the back of a napkin. One could argue that the napkin has been more important to the world of business ideas than PowerPoint.